What's up, friends, and welcome to How to Properly Brace Your Core. So I want to preface this by saying a couple different things. First, proper activation, muscle activation, whether it's the core, glutes, etc., requires proper mobility. So if you are trying to activate muscle groups, but you are not doing any mobility to help with that, that may be your number one issue. So make sure you're focusing on mobility as well on top of activation. And number two is in the beginning, then when we're learning how to activate, when we're trying to make that mind muscle connection, when our bodies are still getting used to what activation feels like, it's going to take longer in the beginning. So this may feel like a lot of steps at first because we're still learning what proper core activation means. This also goes for glute activation. So we're still learning what that means and what it feels like. So this will take a little longer in the beginning, but as you practice this, as you continue to get stronger and as you practice it more, your body will start to activate faster. So this may feel like a 10-step process right now. It'll be shortened to a 2 to 3 step process by the time you learn how to do these things. All right, so let's get started. So the deep core is super important to activate in the beginning of workouts because our deep core has muscles that are wrapped around the spine. So we are not only protecting our body from injury, but we're teaching our body how to get in proper alignment before we do all those other tougher exercises. So it's extremely vital to activate the deep core in the beginning of the workout because then that helps your core stay active and kind of lit up the rest of the workout. So I have a couple different ways to practice core activation. So what you'd want to do is do some deep core work in the beginning of your workout. So after some warm-up, mobilization, then you're going to get into deep core activation. And I have 2 different exercises that work the deep core that will help light up that core for the rest of the workout. So my number one exercise is leg lifts because this also teaches you how to get in proper alignment with your body. And so for the first exercise, what you're going to do is lay flat onto the mat, onto the floor, and we're going to lift our legs up into a 90-degree angle and slowly lower one at a time. But the biggest part on this one is not having any space between our low back and the mat on here. We really want to draw belly button to spine, press the low back into the mat, and keep it pressed the entire time. So if your low back is lifting as you drop a leg, focus on brace the core. Again, drawing belly button to spine, pressing the low back into the mat. You got your core. You may even feel the core starting to work right now. And then we want one leg tap at a time. Biggest part here is not letting that low back lift. Now, if you feel like this is too easy, you can do a couple different things, lowering it both at a time. If your low back starts to lift, I want you to lift it back up. So let's say I start going down here and my low back starts to lift. I want to bring it back up and continue to practice that control as you bring it up and down. And eventually you'll be able to go all the way down without lifting the back. And then even farther, you can go one leg at a time or straight leg, both up and down, again, without letting the low back lift. Now, if you have some back issues here, you feel like that one's not activating the core as much as you'd like, then I also recommend planks. So a lot of you are familiar with planks already. Big part on here is that same thing with the core. We don't want it arching. We want that core nice and braced. And then we're going to bring it into a plank. So bringing both hands together. I like to bring it personally hands together instead of up here and on our elbows, less wrist tension, and will help activate the back more by bringing them together. Now, I'm going to bring one leg out at a time. If this is too much right now, you start to feel it in the low back, I want you to bring it to a modified version. But the biggest thing here, no mountains, no valleys. I want that nice aligned body, and we're going to bring squeeze to the glutes, draw in the core as you're doing that. So not letting your low back dip. You're going from here, draw it in, squeeze, and brace. Again, you can try that on the knees. And if your low back is still lighting up, then I recommend from there focusing on some mobility, and then make sure you're activating the glutes as well before your workouts. Let me know if you have any questions, and great job.